Hi everyone, we are Syndicate 2. In this presentation, we'll be introducing and explaining self-efficacy theory, a motivational theory developed by Albert Bandura. What is self-efficacy? Self-efficacy is the belief that one can achieve a specific goal or perform a particular task. It is task-specific. For example, when your manager asks you to manage a simple project or task, you feel confident in your ability to complete this task. Self-efficacy theory. It is a component of social cognitive or social learning theory. The higher the self-efficacy, the more confident an individual will be in their abilities to succeed. People are less likely to give a task their full effort if their self-efficacy levels are low. However, having a high level of self-efficacy, an individual will to be confident and, as a result, give their maximum to complete a task. Increase your self-efficacy in yourself. Albert Bandura developed the self-efficacy theory of motivation in his book published in 1997. He proposed 4 ways that self-efficacy can be increased as illustrated below. Experience, vicarious experience, social persuasion, physiological feedback. All these have an impact on your self-efficacy. Self-efficacy then impacts behavior and performance. Increase your self-efficacy in yourself. Let's look at all individually. Experience. Experience refers to an individual's past experience in completing a similar task or project. This is the most important factor to drive self-efficacy. When an individual has performed a similar task in the past, they are more likely to be confident to complete similar tasks well in the future. Example, an event coordinator's assistant, having assisted in arranging a big event before, one's level of self-efficacy will be higher, as you have contributed and completed a similar task before. Vicarious experience. One can develop self-efficacy vicariously by monitoring and viewing how other people perform the task. When observing others perform a task successfully, this will increase one's own self-efficacy. However, the opposite will have a negative impact on one's self-efficacy. Example of these are often seen in fellowship programs, where apprentices view and monitor what their seniors do, and learn from this before they attempt the tasks themselves. Social persuasion. One can increase your self-efficacy when others encourages you to perform the task. This could be from peers or management. Conversely, self-efficacy will decrease if one feels discouraged or receives negative remarks when performing a task. An example of these could be having feedback sessions, such as surgeons have clinical evaluation feedback sessions from their seniors after a procedure was done, giving them feedback in the form of tips and tricks, rather than negative remarks. Psychological feedback, also referred to as arousal. When an individual is confronted with a task, they experience sensations from the body. How an individual interprets these signals will have a direct impact on their self-efficacy. For example, if a person is due to perform a presentation to a large audience, one might experience excitement or anxiety in the form of butterflies in the stomach. The way an individual interprets these feelings as excitement for getting on stage will increase one's self-efficacy. However, if an individual experiences these feelings as a form of anxiety, this will decrease their self-efficacy for this and/or similar task. An example of this is when a manager asks his junior executive to present a commercialization plan to senior management, rather to succumbing to these feelings of anxiety, to rather use this as fuel to give an impactful and meaningful presentation. There are 4 ways one can build your self-efficacy. One can also use these approaches to build a team or members' self-efficacy, which in return will boost not only their competence but also their motivation. Master the task. Set realistic yet challenging goals based on present situation. When one succeeds in reaching that goal, build on it by setting a slightly more challenging future goal or objective. Model behavior. Identify a role model to observe who have high self-efficacy in the area or skill where one is search of improving. Or do research to seek role models or examples of these tasks being fulfilled successfully. Use this as motivation. Social persuasion. Finding mentors and coaches who will closely work with you to build one's self-efficacy. Learn from their past experiences in order to find one's own initiative of performing a task. Improve self-emotional state. Learn and differentiate from past physical sensations, as these could often be misinterpreted. Learn to interpret these signals as positively to improve one's self-efficacy for future tasks. When your self-efficacy has its disadvantages. Most people can benefit from increasing their self-efficacy around tasks necessary to their jobs at which they are not confident or competent. However, sometimes having a high self-efficacy has disadvantages, such as overconfidence in one's ability could reduce an individual's performance. Having too much confidence will result in not putting in the necessary level of effort. Examples of these can often be seen in the sports arena. When the underdogs beat the champions. Springboks' loss of 34-32 loss to Japan in the RWC Championship in 2015. Conclusion: the self-efficacy theory of motivation is a way to explain motivation. Studies have shown that self-efficacy is a strong predictor of high performance. Past successful experience boosts confidence. By increasing a team or member's self-efficacy, a manager can raise their confidence and performance. Thank you for watching our presentation on self-efficacy theory. We look forward to engaging with your questions and feedback on the discussion board.